Hello, I am Shantika. I am a data analyst at Rise Higher Education, and today I'm in conversation with Shivam Sharma, one of our alumni who is currently pursuing his master's from HEC Paris. So, Shivam, will you just give us an introduction about yourself and help our students get to know you better?
Sure, Shantika. First of all, thank you very much for calling me for this discussion. I'm happy to help the future students who are going to work with Rise Higher. So, just giving a quick intro, I'm currently a master's in management student at HEC Paris. So here the course is about 2 years, and I have completed my first year now. My second year, which is going to be a specialization, it's going to start from September 23. So I have 3 months time in between. And so I'm doing an internship here for 3 months in Germany in energy industry. And later on, after completing the internship, I'm going to go and complete my whole course, which will be ending in 2024, June. So this is about the master's. And before my master's, I worked for Larsen and Toubro for around 2 years, which is again civil. I'm basically a civil engineer, so that's why I worked in the core engineering. I was in the business part of it. And before L&T, I was doing a bachelor's from NIT Trichy in India, and I did a bachelor's in civil engineering. And then I was part of so many things in university, which actually helps you. I mean, for management or for anything which we are going to discuss now. And before that, I did my schooling in all over India. So because I come from a defense background, so my father was on a transferable job. So yeah, I mean that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so can you tell me a bit about the experiences and thought process that led you to Europe for your master's?
Yeah, sure. So when I was working after my bachelor's, as I mentioned, I joined Larsen and Toubro. So I was working there in headquarters in Chennai. And while working, I realized one thing that, okay, even though I studied engineering, core engineering, but I was more towards, business side. I mean, I was working with the clients. We used to do costing, bidding, things like that for the projects. And that was the moment I realized, like, I think it is something where I'm more interested in. And moreover, in my university, I was part of so many extracurricular things. Like I was part of student council, I was part of all the fest, I was part of many clubs. So there I had a preview of my skills in management. So then I thought, why not do a degree in management instead of just like being an engineer and doing management uh, task, for example. So then I decided to do a master's. So there were two options, like either you do it in India or you do it abroad. So I wanted to do it abroad because I mean uh, I heard about when I was studying in my bachelor's again. So I heard about these masters in management courses, which are really nice. So basically, if you ask me, PGDM in India is equivalent to masters in management outside. So whatever IIMs are offering in India is similar to masters in management outside. But if you want to do an MBA from outside, you need at least three. But if you want a good university and good good university basically, so you need more than 3 years, around 5 years of experience, which I didn't have. So then I started looking for MIM courses, and when I was exploring, I saw that HEC I knew already, since many of my friends were doing when they just graduated in 19 and then they joined the university. But there were many other colleges which were basically in Europe. So the origin of this MIM courses is in Europe, and it's not quite famous in other parts. Like for example, in US also, I think just very few courses like Duke or or maybe one or two more, which offer this MIM course. They basically offer MEM, which is Masters in Engineering Management, but nobody just offer MIM courses. One good thing is, for example, if I now while answering your question, I'm just thinking about my cohort, like who was there in HEC. So there are people from all the backgrounds. So I really don't. Uh, I really can't say that, you have to come from this background. This is the prerequisite to join this program. There is nothing like that. I had doctors in my class. I had, I mean, business students. I had engineers. I had uh, art students. So sociology, chemistry students, like many kind of all students from different backgrounds were studying management there. So there is, in terms of your bachelor studies or in terms of your skills before, there is no prerequisite. But of course, your application has to be strong, you know, and whatever you have learned in your uh, previous studies or previous company, wherever you are working, you have to portray in your application that, yeah, I mean, there was something concrete which you did. It's not anything vague.
Can you
Yeah.
put some light on the preparations that you did during your application stage, like how you shortlisted the programs, admission essays, etc.?
Yeah, sure. So the journey started with Rise Higher again. I mean, because I was talking to Akriti, and she gave me so many inputs, like how you should structure your admission, the whole process. So I think first thing we did is we first of all, you should know your profile. Okay, I have this much score, I have this bachelor's, I have this much experience. So you know your profile. Based on your profile, you try to look for universities, right? Or the courses. For example, for me, it was course, as I mentioned before when you asked about MIM. So I knew that I have to do MIM. So for MIM, then I found out in the whole world which are the universities which are giving MIM. Based on their rank, I preferred some universities and then I neglected some. And once I shortlisted the universities, then I had some criterias. For example, uh, the duration of the course is one. At some places, it is offered in 3 years. At some places, it is offered in 2 years, 1 year, like that. Then the tuition fees, of course, right? And then we had something like, yeah, career prospects. I mean, how well the career cell or the placement cell in those universities work. And there could be many more. I mean, it depends on person to person. Like there could be many criterias, location, which city I'm gonna be, and things like that. So once you have these parameters on the left column, like it's all about Excel file. So you have to maintain an Excel. You have to list down the universities, you have to list down the parameters, then you again rank them, and then you write the deadlines. These are the deadlines for the application process for round one, round two, round three. Then you decide in round one which university you're going to apply, in round two which university you're going to apply, and similar for other rounds. And then you start applying. So once you start applying, then for every university, I found that there are different SOPs. It's not same for any and like every college, right? So you have different essay questions, you have different SOPs. But the good thing with again Rise Higher was like Akriti gave me some master SOP samples. In the sense, sample in the sense there are just questions. So it's not like you will not feel that you are writing a SOP. You are just answering to those questions. And there are few questions. Once you answer them all, it's like it covers your whole life, literally. So that becomes your master SOP. So once you answer them, you give it to Rise Higher, and then I think she sent me back in just within 2 days or one day, and she sent me a master SOP from there. And once that SOP was there, then whenever I'm writing an essay for any university after that, or I'm writing a SOP for any university, I just have to look at my master SOP. I have to take parts from there, whatever is relevant to that particular question. But sometimes, so this is one thing where master SOP helps a lot. So this is one thing. And then there are universities where the question is totally different. I mean, it's not at all related to your SOP. For example, I can give you one example like in Duke. So in Duke, the MMS application, Masters of Management, I mean, it's called MMS course, which is basically same as MIM. So the one of the questions in application was uh, explain 25 things. I mean, you should write 25 words, which explains your whole life. Like after reading those 25 words, the uh, the person who is evaluating your application, he or she should understand you. Like he or she should imagine you in front of them. So you have to be very careful. But it was the best essay like I wrote, because it was so fun. Like I was just thinking about like what I like, what I don't like. So if I like something, okay, let me write this word and let me explain. So you can write a word and you can explain it in 1 or 2 lines. So for such essay, essay questions, you can't do anything from master SOP. You have to, of course, you can take 1 or 2 points from there, but you have to come up with something new. So every application is very new. But the only good thing is like when you write something, when there are people to review those SOPs or your essays, it becomes by time it becomes so refined that finally you get a very good SOP, and then you can be confident about your application. So this was a whole process from shortlisting to submitting the application. Yeah.
I also
Okay.
heard that you achieved a pleasant score in a GRE. So, do
Yeah.
you have any suggestions for the students who are preparing for the same?
Yeah. So for GRE, I should be honest here. So for me, the thing was, I never thought, I didn't even know that all the universities are accepting GRE. So I mean, before COVID, when somebody says management, the first exam which comes to your mind is GMAT, not GRE, right? So I thought I have to write GMAT and I start preparing for it. And I started preparation for GMAT, and I was trying to give mocks for GMAT. Then I could see that I was targeting some good universities like HEC, and all the 5, 6 universities which I targeted, which I discussed with Akriti, were like topmost in MIM according to rankings. So if you want to get there, at least you should have a decent score, right? And I was not able to reach that decent score in GMAT. Then Akriti suggested me, why not you give GRE? Once you give GRE, you might get a good score. And then I just gave a mock exam that day itself, and I was getting a decent score with the preparation of GMAT. So I can't tell you that what I did for GRE preparation. So this was my honest story. So then I wrote GRE, and I got a decent score in GRE, so which was good enough to apply for such universities. And it's not like I gave a mock and next day I gave the exam. I took a 15 days gap because in GRE the verbal part is a bit different than GMAT. Like in GMAT they are not checking your vocabulary as such, but in GRE they do. So I was going through words in those 15 days. Maths was fine. I mean, if you prepare for GMAT maths, you can give GRE maths. So it was okay. And then I gave the exam, and that's how I got the score and applied through that score. Yeah.
Okay, so been for quite some time in Paris. So till now, what were your biggest daily challenges and how did you overcome them?
In Paris, okay, I mean, Paris is a beautiful city, but HEC Paris is not in Paris. That is the disclaimer. So it's 40 minutes, 50 minutes from there. So we live in a town called Jouer Josas. So it's 50 minutes from there, but it's a very beautiful town, very peaceful town. So first of all, I mean, once you live inside the campus, it's a closed campus. So in Europe or in any Western country, it's very rare to have a closed campus. Usually universities are open, like it's in the city and there is no boundary as such. But for HEC, since it is located a bit far from the city and they have so much land, we have our own lake, we have our own like chateau, you mean the palace, and everything inside the campus. So it's a closed campus, right? So once you live inside the campus, there are no challenges. And the reason is people speak English there. So it's language doesn't become a problem. But when you step out and when you go to Paris, there are many regions in Paris where you are gonna face the language issue. That is one thing. But if you know, like if you do even A1, A2 level, the basic level, at least you can manage. You can converse with them with the basic words. That is one thing. Second is food for me. I didn't know cooking at all in India, and I never cooked, so that's a bad thing. So if somebody is coming to I mean, they're coming abroad for studies, and I would advise them to learn cooking a bit because here in India, in my bachelor's, we had night canteens, not even one, like so many inside the campus. You can go anytime. We used to go at 3 a.m. for eating Maggie, but that won't happen in Paris, right? That won't happen in Paris because here only one university restaurant, they call it RU, and runs from 11:30 to 1:30. That's it. After that, it's on you, like how you're gonna do. But they give you the studio apartments where you have the kitchen. So people like learn cooking, or those who know cooking, it's very well. They can cook. So I learned some basic things after coming here from YouTube, and then I started cooking. So that was a bit challenging, but it was fun. Not, I would say not a challenge, but it was good. Yeah. So these are the two main things. Otherwise, it's all good. I think is like, if I come, like I have so many friends who are studying in India, and they are doing their masters in management. Like for example, IIMs or ISB or any college, any good university, they are studying there. So if I compare their management program with my management program, there are many pros and cons everywhere, right? So for us, if I tell you the good things, so our curriculum was so good, especially HEC. Even I would not say all the MIM courses are similar. Like some, for example, ESSEC course is also very good in MIM, but they give a lot of flexibility. That's why it is good. You can design your whole curriculum however you want. But for HEC, that was not the case. It's so rigid. You cannot do anything. If there are 18 core courses or 20 core courses, you need to take them in first year. So it becomes very rigid. It becomes very hectic. But once you finish those courses, while doing it, you will say that, this college is like a school. Exactly, like there are so strict rules in terms of academics I'm talking about, and the exams and everything. But like once you're on a verge of finishing the course, the first year of the course, because basically the MIM is the first course, a first year course. The second year is just a specialization, which is like a second degree to you. So once we were finishing it, we realized, that we learned a lot during the 1 year. Like I learned, for us, 4 finance courses were there. Then we had operations courses, strategy courses. Then we could take few electives, 2, 3 electives, and then we had basic business management related courses and things like that. So the if you ask me academically, it is much better than courses if I compare with India. There, I won't say that in India colleges are not there. Even in India, there are very good universities which offer such courses, but very few, right? Here the people who are teaching us, like they many of them were CEOs of the company. They used to come and they used to teach us, like they were taking courses for us like that. So it's very good to have, that international experience. So that is one good thing here if I compare. Second thing was about, again, word international. So when they claim that, you would have seen on internet that many universities claim that they are international, but when you go there, it's just 2, 3 nationalities. That's it. And for 2, 3 nationalities, they claim themselves as international. But if you come to Europe, or again, I can give you example from my university. So we had 111 nationalities in MIM, which is a huge number. Like you literally make friends from all the nationalities. So that is something like very good, because in being in university itself, there are so many courses where you have the group projects. And when you start working in group projects with various nationalities, you try to understand, how their mindset works, and it's very different. After one point, you will be able to understand, like once you meet a nationality, you can clearly say that how this person is gonna work, or how his or her like culture is, and everything. So that is something good. So these are the 3, 4 things where I can compare the you know two countries in terms of course. Yeah.
And domestic students.
uh yes. So in if I talk about the job opportunities itself, that is the most important thing, since we are coming here with basically for a career, right? It's not to We are not coming here to enjoy. So when we see the difference, especially in jobs, so if you know the language, even if you are international, then it doesn't make a difference. But otherwise, companies prefer domestic students because they are native of this place and they know the language. Like French is native for them, for example, if I talk about France, right? So the companies prefer them over the international students. But there are many companies, which is one good thing, like they are trying to be more international, and they are doing it also. So they open vacancies only for international students. So that is also possible. Yeah. So
So are you telling me that learning French will be, more beneficial for an international student?
Yeah, exactly. So if somebody is coming to Europe, if they're coming to Germany, I would advise them to like learn German. If they're coming to France, I would advise them to learn French because it's very, very important, if you ask me. And one more thing is like we have to be real. Like nobody can, reach C1 level within just what do we say, maybe in like 6 months or something. It takes a lot of time to learn a language which is totally different to your native language. So
You telling me that learning French will be, more beneficial for an international student?
yeah, exactly. So if somebody is coming to Europe, if they're coming to Germany, I would advise them to like learn German. If they're coming to France, I would advise them to learn French because it's very, very important, if you ask me. And one more thing is like we have to be real. Like nobody can, reach C1 level within just what do we say, maybe in like 6 months or something. It takes a lot of time to learn a language which is totally different to your native language. So even if you can do A1 level, A2 level at least, it is good. At least you can start here. And then universities also have mandatory courses where you have to learn again the language. So if you are already A1, A2, you can directly do B1 here after coming here. For us, it was not the case. For example, I tried when I was in India, I did A1 course, but then I realized that I did not reach that level. Again, I did A1 here after coming to university. Yeah. So
Okay.
learning a language is always good. Yeah.
Okay. So I heard that you're going to Germany for your internship. Would you like to share something about it?
Yeah, so one thing again, it will be like an advice to the upcoming students. So when you come here, the like every time we hear, right, networking is important, networking is important. But when you are actually here, you realize the importance of networking. So my advice would be it should not be very forceful. Like you should not force yourself like 100% to do networking and just trying to talk with people where where the other person is not even reacting, or you take your time but do a proper networking in the sense uh, networking doesn't mean that it has to be only with companies. For example, it can be with anybody. Like in your daily routine or daily life, you're meeting many people in a day, right? So you just be nice to them. That is enough for networking. No need to do something special. Just talk with them nicely, be nice to them, and that's how it works. So for me, for getting an internship in Germany, networking was something which helped. So I during one whole year, like I made so many friends, right, in university, and we used to had uh, career events by the HEC Career Services. So in that also we used to meet so many new people, and then we used to be connected. And LinkedIn is the best thing. So I mean, for connecting with people and talking to them, just reach out to them, ask them, what can be done and things like that. So my internship I got through networking. So and now for 3 months I'm gonna do internship in like Germany for in a firm like which is into energy. So my background is from civil engineering and then Larsen and Toubro. So that is something which helped me getting this this internship. And my experience in MIM, since HEC was quite famous, like it's quite famous in Europe. So the company knew that if somebody is coming from there, they might be good. So they just want to try people from that university for sure. And that's how I got the internship, and now I'm gonna do it for 3 months. So we should not consider it as that it's gonna be fun, or it's gonna like, don't consider it a holiday for me, right? So you have to be serious about it. You should know why you are going there, and where do you see yourself within in 5 years or 10 years. If you are doing a course, any course abroad, you should know why you are doing that course, that particular course. Because it should not be like you just want to go out, that's why you are taking any course. If you do that, there is like there is so much struggle outside. It's not very easy. Like whatever we see in pictures on Instagram or anywhere, people posting pictures from who are living abroad. So we should not just think about those pictures that people are roaming around in their vacations and things like that. So you have to be like, there should be something from your own. Like uh, you should be very concrete on what you're gonna do and take your decisions accordingly. So that's the main like single liner, that be confident and think before you do anything, and then take a course and uh, take advice from people like Akriti or Rise Hire. I mean, they are really good. So, and they helped me a lot during the whole process. So I'm sure it's gonna help. Yeah.
Well, that was great. That was a very effective conversation with you, Shivam. Thank you for joining us today and helping our students. I wish you all the very best in your career. Have a nice day.
Thank